Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today we're going to do another round of community notes, violating people. This is a monthly segment on the channel that is very simple. On Twitter, there is a communal fact check system where qualified users can leave a note underneath tweets, adding additional context, and if that note gets enough upvotes from the community, it is publicly applied, often leading to some very funny results. Now, the beauty of these notes is that they can be very simple or very convoluted. Here's an example of a very simple note where this account is showing drone footage of a community ravaged by an alleged tornado, where the note says it was not an alleged tornado, it was a tornado. It's like the person making this tweet was afraid of getting sued for defamation by this alleged tornado. But here's one that's a lot more convoluted and requires some additional context before we get into the note itself. So here we have this VTuber named Hara making this call out post. So it says, "The amount of accepted lolly/shotacon in the VTuber spaces is a bit repulsive. I wish to not associate with those kinds of people, nor have them in my community, regardless of their size or popularity. I already get lumped into enough weird things by using the VTuber label. Please respect my community and leave. Thanks." So basically, the best thing to do is to ignore things you don't like. It's okay to have boundaries, it's okay to not like certain things and certain tropes and stuff like that, but the best thing is to ignore or block those things instead of making a call out post that would essentially call some of the biggest VTubers in the world repulsive. And on top of that, there's a bit of narcissism here, basically saying like, I don't want you to be associated with me as a VTuber and you need to correct your behavior and respect your community. But their intentions would become very clear. So someone would raise the point of, what about Gargura? You're going to call out Gargura? She clearly is someone who supports this kind of stuff. Where she replies saying Gargura would hit any established member with a restraining order, referring to people who'd be okay with those themes. Now, of course, if that was true, she'd be issuing out a restraining order to half of HelloLive, but she clearly knows nothing about Gargura. She hasn't seen the things she retweets, the people she collabs with, the things she says on stream, and even some of the merch she sells. But it's looking like she is very much a tourist, and she would admit that outright in this reply, saying she doesn't watch or enjoy VTubers, which is an insane thing to admit. The CIA couldn't torture this information out of me, because basically you're admitting that you're using a VTuber model and the VTuber hashtag to basically boost your own career, while at the same time trying to police what can exist in that community. It's a very strange thing to say, but after coping and arguing with a lot of people, they would say this, basically, I'm not losing, I'm not getting owned, you're getting owned, by saying this whole thing was obvious interaction bait. And then they try to plug their own store, which I'm sure that worked out really well. But that tweet that we just looked at would actually be used for the note. It was the citation for it because engagement baiting is against the terms of service, which is what this user is claiming this post is. And then you can see that notes help prevent paid users from making money. And yes, if you get hit with a note, you can no longer make ad revenue, which she really wasn't making any ad revenue in the first place. But then she would kind of spurg out after that. She would go into the replies of my tweet making fun of her, saying this: "The 30-year-old playing a toddler coward couldn't even at me," which is a very strange thing to say in the first place, but also I'm blocked. And she would admit that she's had me blocked for years. So essentially what she did was she unblocked me, left that weird reply on my tweet, and then reblocked me while accusing me of being a coward for not directly interacting with her, which was impossible at any given moment due to the fact she has me blocked. Now, she would say one more thing here where she would make another round of slanderous claims against me, but she would say this thing about successful in life because some people said that she might be jealous of things people like me and other people in the VTubing scene have achieved. And honestly, I want to help you guys be more successful in life. And one of the key things to start, working towards some successful goals and reaching some of your goals is to have a good, balanced diet. And you can get some help with that thanks to today's sponsor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Giga Chads at HelloFresh have returned to sponsor this video. Click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Now, what is HelloFresh? It is a trusted meal delivery service featuring a menu with 50 plus dinner options and even more market items that suit any healthy lifestyle. HelloFresh will bring fresh ingredients straight to your door without the hassle of having to leave the house to shop at the grocery store. Because let's face it, why spend your time there when you could be at home watching people get destroyed by community notes on Twitter? And with easy to follow recipes, HelloFresh will have you dishing out banger meals that'll have amateurs like Gordon Ramsay shaking at the knees. I'm talking some main protagonist of cooking themed anime type quality. As I always say, if you're familiar with this channel, you know I only promote services I stand by. I'm not just a partner with HelloFresh, but also a loyal customer. I also love HelloFresh because they offer not only delicious meals, but also high protein and diet conscious meal options for people like me who want to maximize their gains at the gym. So if you are interested in trying out HelloFresh, make sure to use the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Welcome back, guys. So now we're going to cover a series of notes relating to gaming, beginning with this one saying, what grown adults play video games? And you can see the note, it says, as of 2024, there are approximately 1.17 billion people between the age of 18 to 34 who still play video games, with 1.3 billion more who are 35 plus. Yeah, that's actually a very interesting note. I did not know that those two age groups were so similar in terms of the number of people playing video games. That's actually a really cool thing in my opinion, because it's a good thing to have balance between the older gamers and the younger gamers. I think having a balance like that is pretty good in terms of what products should be catering to. It's a balanced audience for them to cater to. And again, this is just another example of someone who is angry that adults have hobbies. It's perfectly acceptable for an adult to have a hobby like playing video games. It's just like anything else in life, all in moderation. Yes, if you're playing video games 18 hours a day as an adult, that is an issue, but most people casually playing video games for fun is a good thing. Here's another note from a very bizarre breakdown of a Concord-related tweet. So, an artist for Concord, after the game was shut down, released this video showing off some of their in-game art, and honestly, this was a pretty decent showcase. A lot of people actually thought it was pretty cool, and they said, well, maybe Concord should have focused more on stuff like this than all of the political virtue signaling throughout their entire game. But anyways, this user would say this, quoting the artist, saying, I see people criticizing an artist just for showing off their work on Concord that took them years to make. It's like blaming the captain of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald for rogue waves. Like, you do the best you can do with the circumstances you are given, no matter what the odds are. And the note says the user in question is one of the main people bashing the artist's work, because just one day before, they left a negative quote retweet of that original artist here, saying this is like if the seamen from the HMS Terror was showing off all their impressive knots, like, bro, the expedition to the Arctic effing failed, we are stuck in the ice. First of all, with these nautical references on both tweets. But yeah, this was the person who was starting the campaign of these tweets making fun of this artist, and then they try to turn around and virtue signal, basically saying, oh, it's so terrible that everyone's making fun of this artist. Caught in 4K. Here's another one. I actually featured this in a previous video, but I think it's definitely worth re-exploring for the purpose of this video, and that purpose being community notes. So we have this IGN article here where the headline is, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 developer Saber Interactive won't say whether or not a controversial YouTube comment is from its CEO. Now, the note says this is clickbait, and if you go to the actual article itself, this is what they're considering the controversial comments. So basically what happened is the CEO of Saber goes into the comment section of an Asmongold video positively talking about Warhammer. And down here in the article, we see the actual quote they're considering controversial. This is the comment on the YouTube video where they say, that is what we wanted to recapture. I hope that games like Space Marine 2 and Wukong are the start of a reversion to a time when games were simply about fun and immersion. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, honestly. It's really in character for these games journalists to consider a focus on fun and immersion as something that is controversial given the current climate with the gaming industry. But let's move on to the next tweet. And it's funny we just mentioned Wukong, because now we have this situation right here. So this is a video where a girl is having a breakdown. She's crying on camera, and all throughout that, her pet monkey is just running around the room, parkouring off the top of her head. Like literally every 2 seconds, he pounces and jumps off of her head. Honestly, of all the notes, this one was killing me. It was so funny. And the note is correcting this statement saying, I think the cat is trying to cheer her up, where the note says simply, monkey. Absolutely fantastic. The beauty of community notes in action right there. But here's another very bizarre one. So I don't know really what's going on, especially what this is supposed to be, but it says Nuggets and Max are saving life. Part 8. Hashtag doctor. Hashtag funny. Hashtag blah, 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 blah. Okay? So then the note says this. I think this is some like content mill on YouTube, but the note says this. This video is a misuse of the Red Cross logo and a specific violation of the terms of the Hague and Geneva Conventions. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, that's pretty funny. Funny note, maybe this is just they're trying to make a joke. Maybe it's not even a proper use of the note system, but this is real. If you search this up, a misuse of the Red Cross logo violates the Geneva Conventions and is technically a war crime. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would say, upon learning this information, don't do that. Don't be risking something like that for whatever project they're doing right there. But anyways, you knew these types were coming. Every single Community Notes Violating People video has a couple tweets like this. So this person says, Riley Gaines is a man, because apparently she is toned, I guess. Where the note says, Riley Gaines is a woman. An adult, human, female. This is a very bizarre thing people do. Like, yes, you can have preferences. Maybe you don't like you're not attracted to a woman who has more toned features, but like to claim she's not a woman as a result is a very bizarre and disrespectful thing to do, which relates to this next note. I swear I've seen multiple versions of this exact kind of post where this user says, this is a psyop to make you gay. Muscle mommy fetish is literally homosexuality. But the note says, it's not gay for men to like women. And it's a picture of Lean Beef Patty. If you haven't heard of her, she is a very unfortunate example that people use all the time for these weird claims. She is someone just minding her own business, posting these fitness-related photos on social media, and then these weirdos on places like Twitter try to use her for some weird claim, and it's just like, leave her alone. I don't understand that these people feel it's appropriate to make these wild claims about a complete stranger who is not in any way trying to support the narrative that they are trying to make. But here's another interesting series of interactions. This user says, sun and moon in the sky at the same time. Explain that on your spinning ball earth and stay cool. Where the note simply says, because it is there, referring to both the sun and the moon. And then this post would be a follow-up responding to the note saying, well, this post has brought the bots and trolls out in full force. Where the note says, people being more intelligent than you does not mean they are bots and trolls. Oof. Here's the next one from Logan Paul, who's been facing another round of controversies, but this tweet is possibly worse, saying, you can't ratio me. And then in the replies, he says, still haven't been ratioed, nice try, where the note says he was ratioed multiple times, but hid all. So I don't know why Logan Paul is doing this. I understand some like terminally online unemployed person trying to rage bait for pennies of ad revenue, but like Logan Paul doesn't need to do this. Like I really don't understand why he would be doing this on his account, and it's just resulting in people clowning on him for money, very little money that he clearly doesn't need at this stage of his career. But anyways, here's the next note. This person posts a video saying, free Red Bull hack. And in the video, basically, they drop a can of Red Bull into this big gulp cup, and then they go to the fountain station of the gas station, and they fill with a bunch of ice around the Red Bull can, and then they put Coke in it. So with the mixture of ice around it and also the brown Coke liquid, it basically makes the Red Bull disappear within the drink. And you basically go up and you pay just for the soda drink, but you don't pay for the Red Bull. And as the note very correctly points out, this is not a hack, this is theft. I would not recommend doing this. If you can't afford a Red Bull, maybe you just shouldn't drink one. It's probably good for you to not drink one anyways, but on top of that, why would you risk getting in trouble for a Red Bull? It's silly stuff, and people feel so free to promote this. But let's move on to the next one. So this account goes, whoa, undercover Ukraine spies at Walmart, or Walmart, as they say. We should have had a note for that. But the actual note applies, says, this lady in the video is speaking Russian, not Ukrainian. She was caught shoplifting and is getting arrested. She is not a spy. I mean, maybe she was doing the little Red Bull hack 2 seconds ago, got caught. But yeah, the amount of conspiracy theories you see on Twitter is pretty crazy. But I'm glad to see notes are applied frequently to this kind of stuff. Like, this is just a bizarre thing to lie about, you know what I mean? It's just very weird. But I wanted to end this video on one final note here. So this is a perplexing one. We've seen a lot of wild interactions here in today's video, but this one is just a head scratcher, and I'll explain why. So it says, my new cat, Cole Palmer. And the note simply says, it's not his cat, with a link to someone who actually owns the cat. This person is just lying about having a cat. Why would you do that? Like, maybe there's a joke I'm not understanding here. Maybe I'm just too I'm too out of the loop. I'm not cool enough to understand the intricate joke going on here. But this is just a very weird thing to lie about on social media. But anyways, that's going to do it for another round of community notes violating people. I know you guys enjoy this segment, and I am very glad to do it every month. And also thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video once again. And as always, appreciate you guys watching the video. Feel free to leave your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.